Okay. Mm, ooh, you got you. That's mine. That's my girl. Well, that's my girl. She be singing her butt off, baby. Wish I could. But anyways, I said I was gonna come back real big. I didn't think I was gonna come right back. I did. So I'm gonna wait for a couple of seconds and get my wine together. Okay. Let me see. Okay. So now I gotta do another hour. I think. Anyways, so this live is to kind of. So this live is actually to help someone that could possibly be going through something, um, such as divorce or separation or anything like that, and you have children, right? And let's say if you're someone like me, so spiel. So I'll do the spiel first because this is a new live and it's my second time. Just gonna be me. Okay, so spiel. This is my spiel. I'm a person that I um I am um I am both spiritual and I'm both religious. It's just how I am. I woke up one day like this and I was in church. It's just what I am. And so with that being said, um, when I was faced with the fact that, hey, I may possibly be needing to file for a separation or a divorce or whatever from my husband. And this right here is to help. Hey, welcome in, guys. And I want you guys to know that when you come in here, you're coming in here to be loved on. One thing about me is I love everybody. Welcome in from Costa Rica. And one thing about Mo is she loves everybody. And guess what? I love you absolutely for free. And that's what's important is that somebody love you for free, and I'm gonna love you out loud. So everybody that comes in here, know that you have somebody that's loving you. Make sure you follow me. First of all, make sure you hit that like button, that little thumbs up that's on the outside of this video. Make sure that you do that because I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna look and I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna look at your stuff too. Like I'm that person. Like I make sure that I love on my people. And guess what? I'm gonna love you for free. But this right here, what I do is I I tell my story, like I give real life scenarios and events to help someone that could be in the same position that I am in. Like I never speak on anything that I know nothing about. I never I never try to, but I'll refer you out. I'll get you help that you may need, and I also make sure that I will love on you for free. Okay, never expect me to want anything in return. Um, but if you want to, you can love me back, and that's for sure. But definitely, um, uh, one thing about me is that I'm very transparent. And people look at my transparency sometimes as uh sometimes a bad thing, but I know it's for the greater good. And my transparency is open, and I went to God on that. My transparency was was given to me through God. And I told God, I was like, God, I've been through so much stuff, and I know that this has meaning and purpose behind it. And I'm going to use everything. Hi, welcome in, sweetheart. Love you for free. I'm going to use everything, every teachable moment that I have, and I'm going to turn it into something that's for the greater good. Recommend you 20 people, tap it up. I love y'all for free. All 20 of y'all. Welcome in. I love y'all. Say hi. Tell me where you from. Like, I love that. Communicate in this chat. Because guess what? I'm going to go back and I'm going to check on you. I'm going to make sure you're good. Because that's who I am. I love people for real. I'm a person that loves people. Hello, Jose, Hamburger iCloud, Anthony. Y'all welcome in. Honestly, um, so life has moments, right? And it's moments in time, and sometimes you don't even know how to predict those moments, right? You don't know what can happen. I remember earlier one of my friends had a live, and my friend was brought up this scenario about the man versus the bear, right? Are you guys familiar with that scenario about man versus bear? By show of hands, you can just put some hands in the chat. Tell me if you remember the scenario with the man versus the bear, because I do, and then I've lived the scenario. This is the reason why I want to say this, because the man versus bear scenario, it has so much meaning, and I think people kind of missed it. Anthony, welcome in. I don't think I told you hi. Hello, Anthony. Hello, 5 people that are here. Thank you so much for being here. I love y'all for free. It's so many people that miss the meaning of the man versus bear, and it brings me full circle to what I'm here to talk about today, and what I'm here to give a little love and give a little love lesson is what I'm gonna call it. I usually have my little paper, and I usually be sitting here and I be writing, and I'm usually sitting in somebody else's chat, and I'm usually typing and hyping them up. But today is a day where I'm going to spread a word. And once I get finished here, then guess what? I'm probably gonna go over to where other platform that I do have, and I'm probably gonna spread that word there because it is something that's worthy to be spread. Because it is right now we are in a dire need of giving love. We are in a dire need of loving people and being loved back. And if you don't understand that or know that, that is a problem. But it's probably not your fault because it is some people that has not been loved properly, that they have never been loved properly, that they do not know exactly what it means and how it feels to be loved correctly and properly, and beyond just a shallow point of love. It is a shallow point of love. It is some people that mimics the behaviors of love. But have you really ever experienced agape love? And that is where I'm going to talk, and I'm gonna spill my own tea. And I'm gonna talk about me. I'm gonna share. I'm gonna share me. I'm, I'm going to talk about me because I told Christ that I would use me as a blueprint. I told God that, yeah, you know, I'm not perfect, and I know this. So I know that if I use me as a blueprint, that I would be able to touch and reach out and grab someone that is not so perfect either, that is living or possibly going through the same scenario that I'm going through or close to it, that they don't have to live through what I've lived through. Or they can look at my situation and be like, no, I don't want to go through this. Or she made it through this. Hey, I want to try that. You know, so I do expect. people to look at my life and pull and take, or even say, oh no, I don't want to try that right there, what she did. All right, she did that wrong, but she did this part right, so I want to do this little part. But this little part she could have done better. Like, I do expect that from my life. Like, I do expect that because I want to be, I want to be I want to be a vessel for Christ. Like, I want to be a vessel for the Lord. I want to be a vessel that somebody can look at and say, hey, she ain't perfect, but she's doing something. She got to be doing something right because she continuously make it, and it's always a way that she is making it, and she's doing it. She's doing it right. Like, she's doing it right in her own way. And that's all I ask. Like, you use what you want to use and take what you want to take, but do it in the right way. And so this is what I'm here to talk about, because I just had a live and I finished it. And now I'm going to talk about my current life. Um so currently I had been well, in this last past year, my life has been turned but the girl Cardi say my life changed drastically, and it did, it did. And if you hadn't asked me what 2 or 3 years ago, yeah, it was impossible for my life to change drastically, but it did. If you had asked me 5 years ago if my life would have changed drastically, you probably would have. You probably would have been staring at the door like, "Oh, no, baby, don't invite those spirits into my home." Like, but no, you you. I I never said never. Yeah, I didn't say that. I never said that God. I never said that it was going to be a point where I would be untouchable. No, I said that I would do what was right by Christ, by God. I would do what it was that I signed up to do, and that was to love, honor, cherish, even obey um, my husband. And I said that I was going to rear my family and love, and I've done that. I have been a wife. I have been a mom. I have been a team player. I have been all of those things. Yes, I have. And now my journey will continue, and I will continue to be a wife. But at some point, I know that at some point I felt like that um, it was a need for me to not be my husband's wife anymore. And I had to face that with God, okay, because it is not my husband that said, hey, you know what, let's go down here and let's, get a divorce. Honestly, I don't even believe in divorce. I don't believe in, I don't, I don't, it's something that I've never, um, I've never saw in my future, uh, as a wife, as a mom, as a person, like, period. But I do know that um that me and God have had a meeting several days, and I told God, "Hey God, I'm just gonna have to have to sit with you on this because I know what um what I don't want to be, and I know what I don't want to be is if I'm doing this correctly, I don't want to be drugged into something that I didn't tell you I signed up for, God. And I was struggling in my religion, and I was struggling in my faith, and I was struggling as a person who is technically still a wife to a man that I am technically um willing, like I am a willing participant in a divorce. Like I want to, like it is time, because when you find yourself at a point where um you know, if this person if this person shows himself as how can I say this? Because no way, it is no way that I will not, what I will not do is, I will not down, degrade, or talk anything ill of this, of my husband, because he is a good man, but he's not the good man for me, and he is going to make somebody a great husband. Um, but at this point in life, he has failed me, and and this is where this is a teachable moment for everybody. Is that you have to learn to separate the two, because this is where people build up a hurt people that hurt people, because um hurt people would be a person that would come on here and that would say, hey, you know what, worst person in the world, did me wrong, did this, did that, but then I too would need to hold myself accountable too. I would need to say, hey, you know what, his wife, he was hurting, hey, um, God, I prayed for him. I submitted him back to you. I did what I said I would do. Like, yeah, I'm continuing to provide him coverage. I'm continuing to provide him love, but not the type of love that we had for sure. Because I'm new here. Can I get a shout out, please? Welcome in, Mandy Lou. I appreciate you. Can you tell me where you're from? Yes. So, um, as a person and a woman of faith, I I still have to hold myself to a standard, and not be a person to bash or trash. Um, I'm doing fairly well, and I hope everybody else is doing fairly well too. And Mandy Lou, I want to tell you right now, girl, Mandy Lou, I love you for free. Okay, and that is the truth. And what I want to say is that one thing about me is that I am not a person that um will spew hurt hurt into this world, that it turns into hatred, pain, or anything like that. No, I take my hurt and I use it for the greater good of everybody. That's something that I have pride myself on, is taking my hurt and turning it into a teachable moment that is going to allow somebody to learn from me. The only one, I mean, I'm the only one what you're talking about, and that's fine. Yeah, but it was people here. They come in, they come out. So I'm posting it, and so it'll go. But yes. So the way that I see it is that in God, share it out to Mandela. In God, I have a purpose. And my purpose will be fulfilled, and that purpose is to usher the husband that God sent me originally, usher him into his next phase that he is seeking, because he actively seeked whatever he was seeking, and and he is actively, like, whatever, but usher him into his next phase unhurt. Like for me, like I don't want to send nobody out into this world in pain or hurting from me in a hurt that I gave them. Uh, it would be ungodly and unhealthy, unladylike, to be honest, for me to do so. Just because that's like back in the days, how they used to say, you know, you kill my, I kill your, like you kill my dog, I kill your cat. Like that is the very thing that I am definitely against. So if a person asks me right now, you know, do I love my husband? Yes, I do. I love that man enough to allow this man to move on in his life in peace and in love, because it is somebody out there for him, and if it is somebody out there in this world for this man, and they're going to, I pray, take good care of him. And but there's somebody out there in this world for me. And if I pray on his downfall, then what is there for me? That means that the same thing that I'm wishing I heard in this world for him will come right back to me. And I am not a person that believes in karma, but I believe in good human spirit. I believe in being a good human. And me being a good human is saying that um, you know, it is a time and it is a place for everything. And so, with that being said, my error is it is drawing to an end, and it's been a long run, and I like he said something today that made sense though. I mean we got married young. And we raised our kids, and now you can embark on a journey of raising a whole another baby, because that's what happened. He cheated on me, and he had a baby, and that is something that he will have to live through, and that's something that he will have to manage, and and oh, he is a handsome too. He is very handsome. And and by no means is the baby um something that's bad. Because I feel like all human life is good. And I mean the way that he did it and everything like that. I mean, of course it was bad. Like it was. But God, what I see the God in is that God showed me. That was my teachable moment, because I prayed and I asked God. I said, God, I don't know. I'm praying for my husband. I don't know what's wrong with him. I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with my husband, because I'm praying for my husband and he seemed like he is hurt. And I am nursing my husband, and I am trying to see what is wrong with my husband. God, like it is something wrong. It seems like he's hurting. It seemed like his soul is hurting. Like I saw a hurting husband, and I was praying for my husband, and I was trying to okay, you can go, sweetheart. And I was trying to do what a wife should do, and that is if you see your husband or even your wife as a husband. Like if you see them and they're struggling and they are hurting, and you went and you entered into a contract with God, and you said, God, I come before God, and the pastor asked you, and you guys are getting married, and you stood before this church, this family, this you did all of this. You stood before the family. You stood before God. You stood before all of these people and the witnesses, all of this, and you said, okay, I'm going to love, honor, and cherish this person. Uh, I mean, oh shoot. I'm going to love, honor, and cherish this person no matter what. through thick and thin, for better or for worse, until we meet our demise. I'm going to do this, and then you fall short of the plow. Um, that, I mean, that's just, I mean, that's a problem. That's a really that's a problem. And as a wife, you know, I empathize with you, and as a wife, I do pray, and I prayed, and that's what I did. I prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed some more, and then I found I found another outlet, and to be honest, I even told him, I told my husband, I said, um, at a moment where you feel like you have failed is the very moment that you feel that you should turn into your wife, and we should turn out to God together and go to God and say, hey God, we have this problem that we need fixing, you know, and this is what we submit to you as us, and that is something that you do as married people. And I was in a live, and this lady came up, and she talked, and she said, in the next few years, um, marriage will be almost extinct. And I was like, marriage will be almost extinct in the next few years. You know, I was baffled because as a person, like as a young lady that has, like, I promise you, somebody said, well, when do you know? I was in that same live, and the prompt came up and it said, when do you know your type? I said, I was 13 years old. Um, you know, when did you know that, when did you know that you were, yeah, like it's cut plain, simple, dry. I haven't had all the boyfriends in the world. I'm not that person. Like, I'm very calculated. Like, I won't, like, when my mind is set, this is my person, and that is it. There's no other person, and it's my person, and that is it. And I admire that about myself because my foundation, and I have seen it for generations and generations of a family that I've came from, where my grandparents, they weren't, and somebody said, um it was a struggle love that was being promoted back then. And then I have to beg to differ because um to see that my grandmother passed away, and my granddad went just about a, the, the week after her funeral. My granddad, he said that he was not going to be able to live without his wife, and he passed away, massive heart attack. And so with that being said, I cannot I cannot I cannot say that even back in the days that marriage was a struggle of love. Yes, marriage have times where it is not the best. I ain't finna promote marriage. I'm saying marriage is A1. It is not. It is not. And I'm not gonna promote marriage and say it is the worst, because it is not. But just like anything else, when you buy a house, when you buy a car, when you when you rear a child, when you do all of these things, your marriage builds equity. Your marriage builds something for you that is only for you. Your marriage is the insights to your soul. Your marriage is the output, what you input. And the very wife or husband that you may be looking at and that you are saying, I'm having a tough time right now. Staying in love with my husband or my wife right now because they not I'm going through or something like that. That very wife that will look at yourself in the mirror. You stand there. Look at yourself and see what is the tough time because I can guarantee you that the tough time is dead inside of you too. Because your husband and your wife mirror you. What That's the reason why people glow up. They glow up. It is not because they went out and did something drastic with their hair, or they changed the way and got their revenge body, or they did this, or they did that, or they started doing this different, or they did yoga, or they started praying harder, or they started doing this, or they lost this, or they did that. No, what they did was they got from under your leadership. They got from under your partnership. And I said that because I mean that. Because a husband is to be a leader. And a wife is to be a leader too as well. We are helpmates. We are to be a running mate with our husbands. And for the life of me, I have ran hard. I have ran my body into the ground. I sure have. And guess what? For the life of me, when I get my final divorce decree and God is finished with whatever God is working on within me, I'm going. Everything about me is going to be changed because then it's going to be back to reflection of God because God is the head of my life and I'm going to be rededicated back to God. God only, and I won't have the leadership of my husband anymore because he chose not to be in the leadership of me. Like he chose not to be the leader of my family anymore, and like that. So that's the way the trickle down goes. And I'm saying this to show you a pattern. I'm not saying this to like say anything bad. I'm saying this to show you a pattern about the way the glow up. Like how people say it's a glow up. No, it's a change up. What it is that he he, he ain't gonna look like what he looked like when he was with me, and I ain't gonna look like what I looked like when I was with him. We gonna be two different uses, whatever that look like. And Meosha, see, because then the burden is lifted off of me. And so I did have to go around about with God though, because I do know that God only honors one. Yeah, if I'm technical, I'm gonna be all the way right. Yeah, I'm gonna be all the way right. I'm gonna be all the way right. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna say what's right, and I'm not gonna lead nobody astray because I done read in that Bible, I done dissected that Bible, I done went back and forth, and front and back. I done had a year to do it. Last few months, I've been very deep, and I will say this: while the people are saying yes, well, this or like you can get this or you can remarry and all that stuff, show me. Mhm. Give me a scripture. Mhm. Show me. I need to see it because I know I'm getting whooped. I know it, and I told God that I'm able to accept that I'm willing because I went to my husband and I told my husband, hey husband, like we're getting whooped because we're not putting on what is we're not showing what is right. We're not showing what is right. And if I'm gonna be right, I'm gonna be all the way right. We're not showing what is right now. We're not me, not him. Because if I was showing what was right, then when my husband decided to do whatever he was doing, then me as a wife, me, I wouldn't have got, I wouldn't have, yeah, I'm entitled to have, get upset. I'm entitled to be angry. I'm entitled to, but I also should have dug deeper and I should have prayed harder. And I should have said, okay, well, let's pull together like butt cheeks. My kids put my husband there, and guess what? I let them. But see, that's on me. And so I told God, yes, I understand it. And I did, yes, yes, indeed. Like the situation at hand was that my husband was doing something that he had never done before, and like I was I was afraid for my like I was afraid. I was this the very day that I was afraid of my husband, and that's all I'll talk about with that. But I was very afraid of my husband. And I told him, and I was able to tell him that, and he was very receptive, and we moved forward. But I, at that very day, I was very afraid of my husband, and my and I had to go. Like he had to, somebody had to go. Like we had to, and that was something that that was in the moment. But as a wife, when I saw that he wasn't willing to break his ice and I wasn't willing to move, and what did I do? Did I go to him and say, hey, you know what? Did I have that talk with him then that I'm having now? Or did I stick to my guns and say no? Because if you do it once, you'll do it twice. So I will hold myself accountable to that. And I did go to God and I said, hey God, hey, I know that I know that what I did, what I did in this situation, and I own that. And I don't regret it. Like because at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure that we all are okay. I'm going to make sure that we're going to get through this moment. Like we all going to get through this moment. I'm going to make sure we all get through this moment. And I'll never take that back. But did I pray hard enough? I don't know. Did I do all that, whatever? I don't know. Did I allow my husband to continue to move and hurt? And did I allow him to continue to think that he was the worst individual? Like did I don't know. Did I get through to him at the moments that I should? I don't know. But guess what? I always said that too because I went to Christ and I said, oh God, you know what? We are functioning as two separate people in two separate lives right now. And at this point, God, um, I know that this is not godly. I know that I know this is not of you. Like I know that this is not what 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 marriage look like. And I'm not gonna show this to my kids. And I'm not gonna let my kids see me sitting at home and me sitting in a home and me homemaking with my children and me trying to make ends meet here and my husband trying to make ends meet there and he is trying to rise up over here, and I'm trying to rise up over there, and we gonna constantly fall. You wanna know why? Because we trying to build on separate soil when God ordained a marriage to build together, and that's where I hold us both accountable. And I'm saying I went to God and I said, God, well, this is the time where I need to ask you for clarity, God, because you know we ain't revisit the fact of coming together like butt cheeks. No, we ain't did that. No, God, we have not. We haven't talked about those moments, God. So at this point, what do I do? Um, so it is something called divorce. So that is where I decided to do. I believe in it? No, I don't believe in it. I don't. You know where? No, it ain't nowhere like to do us for. Like like it is what it is. This is what it is saying. Like, and people were trying to say, well, God give exceptions. Where is the exception? Like, where is the exception to the rule? I don't get an exception. So when I decide to move on into a relationship and have a husband that is somewhere in a relationship, I'm just as guilty. Like I'm just as guilty, but I'm just guilty after the fact. And so therefore, I would that's where I will bring into that narrative of God don't bless mess. Mm-mm. God do not bless mess, and I will leave it there. And saying that God don't bless mess, so the perfect way to to make better of the storm is saying and going to God and saying, God, I know that I don't I don't subscribe to this. I know I don't believe in this, but God, I wanna do it right. Like, I wanna do it at least as right as I can with the fact that I'm dealt and say, God, hey, this is me, I'm your child, and I need your guidance. And the guidance, the only thing I have received was if you don't see nothing, no movement, no like nothing. Like if you don't see no movement, no nothing, no improvement, no like if you don't see you can't force nothing is what I'm saying. And I don't want to be forced. I don't want to be in a forceful like I don't want to be there. Like I don't want to do that. So I will do what is um I'm gonna say the worldly way, but I'm gonna do a divorce and but and I'm gonna make sure that I honor God in that too. With saying that God, I know that I'm going through this and I'm seeking a divorce, but I know that there is greater for me because I'm going to continue to function as a wife. And I'm going to continue to be a wife because I mean I've only been a wife like since I was little and I was a little girl. I've modeled myself as a wife. Like I have been a wife all of my life, truly. Like I was a girl and I wanted to be a wife. Like I wanted to be a wife, and it is a husband that will be a husband to someone that wants to be a wife. And so, thank you so much for listening to my live. And thank you so much for everyone that tuned in. And this is a live diary. It is a way that I share different ways, um, and different aspects of life. I unfold packages that's in my life. But I do this in order to help someone else because you never know what someone is going through, and you can be at your healing phase, and they can be at their starter phase, or you could be at your due season. and that could be at their season of the eye of the storm, and you just saying, hey, I'm here, I hear you, I was there, and I know what you're going through, baby. Just hold on a little while longer, because you never know what's the next, what's next for you. And everything in life is so critical nowadays. It's people that is holding on to things, hurt, pain, guilt, things like that. And those are things that I will never choose to hold on to. Ain't no way in this world. Baby, life is life is something that I will always cherish. Um baby, I fight every day to keep this life. Like, I beg God to keep this life. Honestly, it was at one point where I was asking God, please, God, just another day, just one more day, please. I want to see my children. Like, I want to see them get older. It was times where I was begging God, like, I want to see my husband. Like, I want to be able to help him. Like, like I want, like, that's the life that I wanted. Like, but also I do know that you can't always you can't sit stagnant, and I'm gonna leave it at that. And you cannot sit stagnant in somewhere where you know you need to be built. And in a marriage, in a relationship, in a covenant, especially a covenant, you should never be stuck in one spot. You should forever be building. You will go through times where it seems like you are in limbo, or you don't know, or whatever. That's when you start praying. Start praying together. Pull together, babies. Pull together, and let God know, let the world know that, hey, I'm here for this person and this person only. Because I've done it for my entire marriage. I have let this world know that I am here for this person and this person only. See, that's why I know I bear good fruit. That's why I know that my glow is going to change. That's why I know that when when my journey is over, my next journey will start, because I know that I am a wife. Like, I am a wife. I don't know how to do nothing else, but like, I know how to be a wife. And that's not a like a like a like like, oh, I only like, no, that's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is my mindset, my the way I move in a relationship, the way that my thinking is, it is going to always be at a caliber of a wife. And if you have never had a wife that thinks at the caliber of a wife, get you one of these. No, but I'm so serious. No, seriously. Like, I think at the caliber of a wife, like, honestly, it is going to be a time where, like, it is no way possible as a wife that you can honestly think that it will never be a time that you won't have to get your husband out of a situation that he is deep, deep, deep in. The reality is that as a wife, you stand by your husband, you pray for him, you tell him when he's right, you tell him when he's wrong, you respect him as a man, you lift him up as a man, you let him know that he is the man, the only man that is going to be in your life. You treat him You treat him as your king. You treat him as your king. Ladies, do that. Husbands, treat your wife as your queen. Like, respect her. Let her know that no matter what, she is protected. That she is the woman. You respect her. You love her. People talk about gifts and this and that and the big this and that. The best gift I have ever gotten, the best gift I have ever gotten was love. Just love me. Just give me a hug. Was thought. Think ahead. Plan ahead for me. Stability. Tell the truth. Even if it hurt. Even if it's hurt. Even if it hurt. Tell the truth. Tell the truth. Even if it hurt. Even if it hurt you. Even if you think it's gonna hurt your spouse, tell the truth. Because that's the one person. That's the one person that you should. It is a such thing as. It is a such thing as spouse privileges for a reason. That is your spouse is like the lawyer in everywhere. Your spouse is like your spouse is like the sweet and the honey. You know like your spouse is the spice in the food. Like it don't mix. Like it don't mix. No, it is no way that you could ever. You cannot move. You cannot. And I'm gonna say that one of my friends said it best, and I said this too, and I use this analogy. Think of your marriage like this. Even if you had a stay-at-home wife or a stay-at-home husband, because they are here too. Stay-at-home husbands do exist, and they exist for a reason too as well. I will say that. Shout out to the stay-at-home husbands. But let me tell you this: even if even if you had a spouse that stayed at home, did not go to work, and you were the breadwinner, and that's your setup. The money that you make at that job, when you woke up that morning and your spouse was up and your spouse was taking care of the children and your spouse was making sure that you got up, you got dressed, you got everything in order. Your house was getting together. You know they in school they had to call you about the kids, all that type of stuff. All that the money to be made was our money because that money that was made was bought at a charge the day that you said I do, and you did it to God and y'all worked as a team. It is no team that had efforts without every piece of that team. I don't care if it's a basketball team, it's a point guard, it's a this kind of guard or that kind of it is a ball on a basketball team that plays a part in the basketball game. It is a goal that plays a game in the basketball game. So there is no way that you could move or you could be or you can function as a I in a marriage. It is no way. It is no way. So when you start functioning as a I in a marriage, I gotta go. You need to go. Like you need to make sure that you function together. Make make sure y'all function together. Stay a team. And if you see your team failing, go to your teammate and say, hey, you know what? We failing. Teammate, Be able to accept the fact that y'all feeling. Be able to accept the fact that hey, we feeling. And my husband or my wife have come to me and said, hey, we feeling. And they may have a plan that's working better than mine. And let's put like minds together because we are like minds because we are a team. We have become as one. And we are one flesh. And we are one. So guess what? At the end game and in the end run, everything we have done was for our greater good. And before I leave, I'll say this. When you decide to step out of a marriage and you have children, you need to know the difference in the marriage that you stepped out on. You're not cheating on just your spouse. You're cheating on your entire family. From the top to the bottom, you even cheated on yourself. You broke your covenant, you cheated on God. And that is something that people fail to realize is that although you stepped outside of your covenant and things of that nature, I mean, God can fix anything. God can you can turn it around. You can. It is things that can be baby. It is a shock that can bring your heart back to life. So you can't tell me what God can't turn around. But God, the only thing it is God be wanting you to see what you gonna do. And a lot of the times, people don't realize that the best thing that you could have did was say, I did it and I'm sorry. And I'm gonna end on that note. Thank you guys for listening and you guys be blessed.